This is going to be about the loss of genuine femininity. Because, you see, as he was saying, the temptation there in the women having their dignity, or I shouldn't say this temptation, but the temptation of society pushing them in that direction is to take on masculine characteristics. As we start talking about this more and more and encouraging more families to do this, then a woman's day-to-day life is going to radically change if she accepts this call. We'll still go to work every day, but a lot of women are working would be called home to be full-time moms and to have more children. So it's a big step. And we live in what this gospel of life calls the culture of death. Matthew Kelly, back in 2009, I don't know if that's actually when he did the talk, but it's when I heard it. He talked about 5 signs of a declining civilization, and I'm going to read them off again. I've used this before. But see if any of these look familiar. Radical increase in sexual promiscuity, political and social undermining of the family, destruction of the family unit, killing of the innocent, and dramatic increase in non-warfare violence. Once these signs emerge, no civilization has been able to maintain its existence for 100 years. Where are we on that timeline? These signs started to take place in this country or in the West around World War I, which is 1914. They were compounded in World War II, 1939, and became rampant in the 60s. So what we're experiencing now was not like all of a sudden. It's been a long time coming and entrenching itself in society. So people have to be radically different from the culture that's around them. And like I said, it's not to say, well, oh, you know, you think we're just good, but you're being barefoot and pregnant, like it's something second class or demeaning. And that's the attitude that's out there, even amongst people that call themselves good Catholics. And it's the evil that's turned around, calling good evil and evil good. I want to just read a little bit from Humani Vitae to show what, like I said, in the 60s it became entrenched, and it's been helped along by the value of the contraceptive, not the value, by the advent of the contraceptive pill and contraception itself. But here the risk, and here it was a prophecy pretty much from Paul VI, said what would happen if the pill became acceptable. And it's not acceptable by the church, but society, is addicted to it. They should first consider how easy it will be to justify behavior leading to marital infidelity or to a gradual weakening in discipline and morals. Not much experience is needed to understand human weakness and to comprehend that human beings, especially the young, are so susceptible to temptation that they need to be encouraged to keep the moral law. It is wrong to make it easy for them to violate this law. Indeed, it is to be feared that husbands who became accustomed to contraceptive practices will lose respect for their wives. They may come to disregard their wives' psychological and physical equilibrium and use their wives as instruments for serving their own desires. Consequently, they will no longer view their wives as companions who should be treated with attentiveness and love. And let them also be careful to consider a dangerous power that we put in the hands of rulers. Think about what's going on right now with health care. Would anyone blame those in the highest offices of the state for employing a solution, contraception, considered morally permissible for spouses seeking to solve a family difficulty when they strive to resolve certain difficulties affecting the whole nation? Who will prevent public authorities from favoring what they believe to be the most effective contraceptive methods and from mandating that everyone must use them whenever they consider it necessary? And clearly it will come about that men who desire to avoid the difficulties that are part of the divine law, difficulties that individuals, families, or society may experience, will hand over to the will of the public authorities the power of interfering with the most exclusive and intimate mission of spouses. It's supposed to be between the spouses. The government should have no say in it at all whatsoever, and we see what's happening there. And this was predicted, before I was born, and it's coming about. But we see an outright rejection of maternity even amongst good Catholic women. Seen as an illness, take a drug for, an impediment, something to be avoided. And if we're out there promoting degrees and careers, then when are we going to have the babies? Because after having the baby, then the big priority is, when am I going to get back to work? And the baby gets left aside, and then they end up just not having any more. The question or the challenge ends up being, the taking on of male characteristics and a male role. So in Mulieris Dignitatem, back on that letter, in paragraph 10, he says, in our times, women's rights have taken on a new significance in the broad context of rights of the human person. Consequently, even the rightful opposition of women, which is expressed in the biblical words, he shall rule over you, that's in Genesis, must not under any condition lead to the masculinization of women. In the name of liberation from male domination, women must not appropriate to themselves male characteristics, contrary to their own feminine originality. There is a well-founded fear that if they take this path, women will not reach fulfillment, but instead will deform and lose what constitutes their essential richness. It is indeed an enormous richness. Ladies, you have an enormous richness in your femininity. Realize that no matter what anybody else around you says, no matter what happens when you go to Walmart, no matter this is papal documents here. This is what you got to understand that even if other Catholics are acting and saying other things, this is what you possess. And don't degrade yourself by trying to be masculine. It is indeed an enormous riches. In the biblical description, the words of the first man on the side of the woman who had been created were words of admiration and enchantment. He was enchanted by what he saw.